Okay, it is working. Okay, the live button really didn't work, but now it's up and running. So thank you all so much. Sorry for the delay there. It's so good to see each and every one of you. Welcome to Brekkie with the Guy Who Serves. I hope you're all having a great Saturday morning, Saturday evening, Sunday, Monday, whenever you watch this. It's so good to have you here. If you're watching the replay, please say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. Anyway, I have brought along my good friend Stephen from the Idiot Quilter. I have to remember that it's not Blandy's Eyes in the Idiot Quilter anymore. It's just the Idiot Quilter. So it's good to have him back. It's been way too long between drinks of coffees, but it's really good to have you back. So for anyone that doesn't know Stephen, I'm just going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself. So over to you.
Well, hello, everybody. And if you don't know who I am, you must have been living under a rock. But anyways, but enough about how my usual day-to-day goes. I am Stephen. I am the Idiot Quilter. I put out 4 videos a week. You've probably seen some of them. I have my vlog on Mondays. I have the Idiot Quilter on Tuesdays. I have So Chatty with my husband, Walter, on Fridays. And then Walter and I do a live on Sunday afternoons, which is basically a free-for-all. You never know what's going to come out of our mouths or the looks on Walter's face when we're doing it. That seems to be very popular when I say something and he rolls his eyes on that. But anyways, yeah, so that's me, people. So I'm very happy to be here with Sean again. And as Sean just said, and I didn't realize it's been that long. It's been over a year since I've been on here with him before. So
it has, and that's wrong. We need to fix that. We'll have to have you back on again sooner. And I was having a heart attack there just for a moment because we were talking about Nightbot and how well it's been working for me recently, and then it wasn't working, but now apparently it's woken up. So we are back in shape here. But no, it's really good to have you back on. Stephen and I have been actually chatting it up for the last hour and a half, I think it is now. Yeah, which is good, because it's been a year and some change, so we've had a lot to catch up on. I watch his videos, he watches mine, so we kind of get an idea of what we're up to. But sometimes this is really the only opportunity that I get to have a chat with my fellow content creators because, we're all off busy recording our own content, doing our own lives and videos and that. And this is one reason I love having guests on each week because, first of all, you don't want to hear me ramble by myself for an hour and a half because I'm not that articulate, unlike Stephen. But it's also great to...
I can
do it
forever.
I was going to say, we all have our talents, and that's not one of mine. But you definitely can. Plus, it's just nice to have someone to talk to on camera and catch up with folks because, that's the first time I had a chance last week to talk to Adam. This is really the only time I get to talk with you and that sort of thing there, just because we're all busy, whether we're working, full-time or retired like yourself and that sort of thing there. So...
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, being retired, you'd think you have all the time in the world. I'm busier being retired than I was when I was teaching.
That's what everybody says,
Yep. And
I'm just going to make myself... I'm just going to make myself really busy quilting and stuff when I retire in I don't know how many years. We'll talk about that later on. All right, let's just say hi to everyone in the chat. And if I miss you, I apologize in advance. And that's something else I want to say real quick. If you see someone new in the chat, say hi to them. It'd be really nice to welcome anyone that you haven't seen before in the chat. I just think it'd be really nice to say hi because sometimes people get missed, especially when the chat is flying. I try and catch everyone, but I do miss them. It's not because I don't like you. It's not because of anything else. Sometimes I get wrapped up in the conversation. And by the time I come, think about it, the chat's gone. I can't see it anymore. So, say hi to people because, sometimes, it's, the only interaction some folks get with other quilters and that sort of thing there. So I'd love it if you did that. Cherie is here with us this morning. Good morning to you. She was our first chatter. And then Miss Annette was here just afterwards. Misty is here. And she said, definitely hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the content. It does help us out immensely here as well. I do not want to miss anyone. I saw Pally popped in with us as well. Cynthia Marie Field says, good morning, guys. Glad to see you still recovering. She's still recovering from shoulder replacement. So I'm watching and enjoying. Well, I hope the recovery continues on. Do what the doctor tells you. Like sometimes you think they're crazy, but they usually know what they're talking about. So there we go. Sheila is here with us. Good morning, Sean, Stephen, and everyone. I hope you're all having a fabulous day so far. We're having a great day. Fallon is here as well, and she has a wonderful channel. If you have a channel, you can go ahead and put your link in. It should be your first name. Made by Misty, I think we said. Stephen is here. as we already know. Beverly, good morning to you. Linda, Melanie, I think we said already. So sometimes I say people twice to make sure I don't miss them. Laurie, good morning from Georgia. She says, Lana says, hi, Sean. And Russ is here with us as well. We had him on a couple of weeks ago. He's always a lot of fun as well, our mate, Mr. Russ. And Cora, I think we said hi to. Good morning to Miss Donna from Handmade by Ying. She says, good morning. What a fabulous morning it is. Yeah, it looks really nice outside. Brenda says, good morning from Kentucky. Now, I know I missed that. It just jumped.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. I'm trying to follow along here with you too, and then it jumps. And
yeah, and that's how I miss people. Layla Young, Jeannie E., Sue Ellen Quilts says, hi, Sean and Stephen, catching up on several block and a months I got behind on. Yeah, you and me both. You're in good company there. Let's see. Melanie says, Stephen, I was just watching your interview with the boy quilted 25 minutes in. Yeah, I just saw that pop up this morning as well, and I need to go watch that. That's Clint, right? The boy stitcher?
Yeah, Clint, the boy stitcher, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about him a little while ago. Yeah, he'll be on in 3 weeks, I think it is. I think I have him on mid-September. We've been trying to coordinate a day that works for us both. It's like we're just talking, we're all very, very busy, and I tried really hard to have an all men's month here in August, and it didn't quite pan out because I actually left the 9th open because it was my wife's birthday weekend. And I figured, we might go out and do something. But it's just like, no, I want to sleep in, go do your live. And I couldn't line up a gentleman that day. So my mate Tasha stepped in for me. But other than that, we've had men's month, but then we'll have Clint on the 13th. So what, 3 weeks from now? 1, 2, 3 weeks. So we'll have him on 3 weeks from now. I can't count. Don't mind me. If you're looking for perfection in a live on a Saturday morning, I'm sorry you found the wrong place. I hope you do find what you're looking for. But if you just want to hang out with us, we'd love to have you. Sean, it's not Clay, it's Clint. That was just Clint. I meant Clint. I thought I said Clint. Okay, I'm crazy. Don't mind.
I say Clint.
Don't mind me. Anyway, thank you for correcting me because I don't want to call anyone by the wrong name. I don't care if people call me the wrong. I've been called just about every name under the sun, but
me too. Some of them aren't nice.
Nice. Kathy says good morning. She says she's going shopping for a FARP in an hour and a half when the dealer opens. That sounds like fun. If you need any advice on that, definitely reach out. My latest machine's a FARP. I absolutely love that machine. Definitely check it out. Fallon's asking, is the Boy Stitcher a new channel? It is. He's got 2 videos, I think it is.
Yeah, he's got 2 videos at the moment.
Yeah, he's working on a FPP project. I think. Yeah, I just put his link in the chat too. And that's something else I'm going to try and start doing as well, because I had someone comment last week about not being able to see the chat right away. And that's because YouTube has to process the videos. So the chat will appear on the replay about 12 hours after the live finishes. But I think what I'm going to try and start doing is if we talk about channels and that sort of thing there, I might have to start writing this stuff down. I might try and start throwing the links into the description afterwards or something like that to make it a little easier on everyone. We'll see how this goes with this. Good morning. Our mate John from Artie's Quilting Co. is here. It's good to see him as well. We were talking about him earlier on because we've got a fun project lined up together in April, don't we, Stephen?
Yes.
Yes.
Cut. Stitch.
Yes. I've got the shirt and the sweatshirt for that now, so I'm really good. And for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about here, this is the second star to the right. I call it the Peter Pan Project, which is going to be the new sew along by Artie's Quilting Co., which starts in April. There's 2 options, and there's a dawn and a dusk, and the dusk is the all blue background, and the dawn is like all the beautiful colors. Which one did you end up picking, Stephen?
I did the darker one, the dusk, because I really like. Well, I'm a sucker for blue, so
okay.
Yeah,
they were both great options. And I was speaking to someone, I think it was Adam last week, that was like, and John can verify this for us since he's here. It's like 80% of people chose that blue, and I thought it'd be like 60-40 or something like that. I'm going to go with the Dawn, the more colorful one there. So
yeah, well, it was a bit of a toss-up for me because I liked both of them.
I know it's so.
I finally just flipped the coin and went, okay, let's do dusk. So
Yeah, my wife Amanda really liked the blue. She thought that the dawn would be like you wouldn't be able to see the characters as much, and I was a little bit concerned about that too. But once I saw the fabric wasn't as bright as I thought it was going to be, I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to do the one I want to do, and it'll be just fine. And there. I do have a what's it called, an affiliate link for that. Once I find it, hang on, let me see. Good. I want to say good morning to Miss Nancy, and Cappy's here as well. Deb is the Pug Mum Quilter. I always get tongue-tied on that one. Patricia is here. Good morning to Charlotte. Nikki is here as well. Everyone's here this morning. It's really good.
Yeah, and I can't keep up with the chat. I'm looking at it and the whole bit. So what I want to say is I know some of you have been calling out to me. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Yes, that's just a good way.
I
okay,
love
so
all. I really do.
Casita's here as well, Melanie Taylor. I have put the affiliate link into the chat as well. If you are interested in the second start, right, it's gonna be a really fun Peter Pan project that we got to start in April. So if you still got a bunch of projects going on and you still want to get involved, it's good. I told John the other week when I had him on, I was like, I'm really thankful to you because you're starting this in April. It gives me a chance to catch up on the other stuff first. So, because I think they normally start in October or something like that. So I'm really, really happy that he delayed this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll give time to get it done.
Oh, okay. And John's saying it's 2/3 blue, 1/3 purple, pinks, and oranges is the number of kits that they've sold. So there you go. So it's not 80/20 as I was told last week, although it may have been last week, and now more people have popped in and bought the Dawn one. Who knows?
Yeah.
So Stephen, what are you working on this morning, or what is your machine working on more accurately?
Well, yeah, I switched over my camera, so I'm down the little corner, and what I'm working on is there. I am working on, and I'll show you these. We have a dollar store here in Ontario. It's called in Canada actually, called Dollarama. You don't have these stores in the United States. What I mean by that, Dollarama. I know you've got dollar stores, you've got Dollar General and other ones and things like that. But recently they came out with, I'm just going to switch my camera here so you can see, they came out with these big felt tote bags, and they're a heavy felt. And so when I saw them, I thought, wow, this is a cool thing. Now they're blank, but what I'm doing is I'm taking them apart. I'm taking the front and the back panels off. They come off really easy. And I'm making them into Christmas bags by doing embroidery. And they're going to be gifts. Every year at Christmas time, I take down a whole bunch of stuff to the ladies in my local quilt store, sort of thank you gifts, because they always give me excellent service. And I think of them more as friends than anything. And so I'm going to put all their goodies I make for them this year in one of these bags. But I've had to start now because stitching the suckers out take literally hours to do. And I have them on both sides. And I just sewed the bag back together. But for $5 Canadian, 50 cents American, you can't go wrong with this. So that's what I'm working on today. But I'll show you another thing I just finished yesterday because, I love my embroidery machine. And I love doing in the hoop project. So I saw this on, I think it was Creative Kiwi. And it's all done in the hoop. All put.
Well, that's fun.
Yep. And of course, it's a beaver and a Canadian flag. Yeah. How could I resist him? He's so cute. He's so fluffy. So those are what I'm working on right now. And if you look behind me on my design wall, I have 2 blocks of a new quilt I'm working on slowly called Stormy Sea. I bought this as a kit at my local quilt store. The little story here is it took me, everybody probably knows the Barnyard or Barnstar Sampler quilt that came out about 3 years ago, and everybody was making it, and it's a great quilt. Well, I finally finished it about 2 months ago after 2 years of having it because I just couldn't keep my focus on it. There's always other projects in the wings that I'd rather be doing. So anyways, I got it finished. It's on our bed. And I thought, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a nice quilt. It was just the color scheme that I used. It wasn't really my usual color scheme. So we were at the quilt store, and they had some samples hanging up, and one of them was this stormy sea thing. And Walter said, "You see this?" And I said, "No." And I went, "Oh, it's all in petites. I love it. Oh, it's wonderful." And there was a little sign attached to it that said, "Kit available." So I went over to one of the girls there, one of the ladies, and I said, "Wrap it. I'm taking that." It wasn't a cheap kit, I can tell you. It was a little over $400 for it because there's a lot of fabric in this quilt.
$4 American.
$4 Canadian, yeah, $4 American on that. And so I get it home. I said to him, "Well, Walter, my sister wants a quilt for a bed." I said, "May I make this for her?" And he says, "No, it should go on our bed." And I said, "All right, you don't like the Barnstar sampler, do you?" He says, and I always like it when Walter starts a sentence like this, he doesn't like something. He goes, "Well, no, it's okay." I said, "You don't like it?" He said, "Well, I like it, but I don't like the colors." And I had to agree with him. I don't like the colors in it either, not for that room. So he wanted me to make this quilt to replace that quilt on the bed. Well, I will, but I said, it's not going to happen tomorrow. And no, it's definitely not, because I've only got 2 blocks done on the sucker right now. But yeah, so that's the story about it. So there's always projects to do, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always projects to do, and then John keeps coming up with new projects, so there's always more projects to do. I just need more time in the day to finish them all off. So I am working on my State Fair quilt, and I have to have it finished by this time next week, because this time next week after the live next week, we'll have to run up to Doswell, which is just north of Richmond, and drop it off. So I'm about halfway through quilting it. I wish I was further ahead, but I'm glad I'm not further behind. So I figured we'll work on this morning, and we'll get it done. I'll probably be hand stitching whatever it's called, the hanging sleeve on it Friday night or even Saturday morning. You might see me hand stitching next week. Who knows? But we'll get it done in time. We hope.
Yeah. We always put deadlines on ourselves and stuff, and then that creates stress. And it's supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah. Well, I've had anyone that might have watched my podcast in the last few weeks probably saw that I had a thing that said, "Can I do three quilts in 3 weeks?" And I've finished 2 of them. Oh. They're currently on the beds up for the girls. One's currently sleeping underneath, or hopefully sleeping underneath it right now. And the other one will be sleeping on it later tonight, because she's arriving later today.
Oh, okay. So you've got 2 girls then?
Yeah, well, we will have 2. As I said, the first one arrived yesterday afternoon, and then the other one will be here this morning.
Well, that's nice that when they arrive, they've got like a quilt that you've made for them as a welcome gift, and that they can take that back home with them afterwards.
Yes, it's something we like to do for the kids. We know we're obviously not required to, because there's probably very few quilters that host, host parents that quilt. Amanda always knits them a pair of socks that are red, white, and blue for America. And then we usually have a couple other little things that we give them. But yeah, the main things is the quilts. And we always customize them to what the girls like. And so we tell them, "Hey, this is your quilt here. And, this is for you to go back to Europe." So I've actually got quilts now in 6 different countries.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, North Macedonia, or Macedonia, which is just above Greece, Italy, Czech Republic, Germany, Denmark, that's 5. There's obviously ones here in America, so that's 6, and then Australia, so 7. Yeah, 7 countries and 3 continents. So yeah, can I say maybe I can say my quilts are world famous? Or
yeah, I was going to say, around the world quilting. That's for sure.
Yeah. There you go. Good morning, Miss Tasha. I saw you pop in. Good morning, Miss Jen. It's good to see you as well. Let's see. Nikki B sounds like my best friend's husband. He doesn't like most of the quilts my friend makes. He says they're too country he's been quilting for years, and his husband is very picky. Yeah, I mean, you like what you like, and I think sometimes your taste changes too. Sometimes you think, what you like when you first bought it, and by the time you finish it, is two different things. But the nice thing is, you usually can find somebody pretty easily that will enjoy what you have made, even if it's not your aesthetic when you finish it.
Yeah, true. And I try very hard when I'm starting a new project to go outside of my color comfort zone, but because I love blues, any shades of blues. And, there's a whole other bunch of colors out there I've heard that I should be exploring. But for some reason, I always gravitate back to blue. And I'm not going to fight it. It is, if that's what you love, then do it. What the heck?
Exactly. This is your, as I say a lot, this is your craft time and your fun time. You do what makes you happy. So if you like quilting the blues exclusively, quilt the blues. Have fun with it. Don't. If you like purples, just do purples. I love rainbow. I love doing everything with rainbow colors and that sort of thing there. And I'm a creature of habits. I like to stay with the same thing as well, which is one reason I have someone else pick my puzzle mystery quilt colors for me, because if you left it up to my own devices, I would use the purple batiks each and every time. But, and that's what Ian picked for me this time, was all the purple batiks. But in the past, the one I'm doing right now, the flamingo, it's all these bright and bold colors that I wouldn't have picked for myself. Amber picked Tombstone for me. So sometimes it is fun to let someone else pick it for you.
Yeah, true. I'm just going to say another big, broad good morning to everybody, because we got a lot of people keep popping in here, which is great.
I know. I love that.
Well, I don't know if you mind if I make a little announcement then.
Of course. I've always told my guests, please promote yourself. This is obviously, I love people showing up to see me, but I also want to promote the guest as well. So if you have an announcement, please go for it.
Well, some people on here might be new to who I am, but every year I put on 2 virtual retreats, one in the spring, one in the fall. And the one in the fall, these are free. They're absolutely free, although I do ask you to register for them because I can only handle about 95 people. And I usually have a waiting list for it. But all that kind of information hasn't been revealed yet as to how you register, when the registration opens up and all that. That'll come out sometime in the second half of September. But the date I have decided on is October the 25th, Saturday, October the 25th. And as I said, there'll be more information come out on my channel about all of that. But if you've never been to one of my retreats, what happens? Well, it's a sewing retreat, obviously. Actually, you can work on anything you'd like to work on that day. And once you've come on, it can be a come and go for you because your spot is reserved, which is one reason why I have people register. But what makes this different from a usual pop-up sew day that I have on, usually at least one a month of those, and then my Sewing with Stephen days on Wednesday, is I have guest speakers. And I can now reveal who I got lined up for this.
I'm always excited to hear who these people are, because I was actually one of your speakers.
Yes.
In 2023, I think it is. Let me see.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
Spring of 2023, because I got this as one of my gifts, and it's my little. I hope you're not offended, but I use it as my little trash bucket for like.
Yeah, that's what I use them for too. Yeah.
It's fantastic for that, because it's nice and big. It changes color. It's purple, then it turns blue, and I love this thing. Like, it's one of the things that I use every time I sew.
Yeah, so it was a thank you gift because it's free. I can't afford to pay presenters, and the presenters that I have had, and I've had a lot, have all been very, very generous with their time and their efforts on that, knowing, they're just getting my undying gratitude for all of time, which I'm sure they'd rather have a check, but that's the reality. So who have I got lined up? Well, first of all, I have Adam from Adam Sews.
Oh, very nice.
And he will be on. And right now we're still working out details as to what he'll be talking about. But in general, he'll be talking about, I want him to lean towards his YouTube channel and towards his store, his online store, and the projects and things he's been making. He can showcase all those, but we still have to work out all the details exactly with that. So that's one of my presenters. Then I have a team. This is a first. I have never had dual presenters in one time slot like this. And I was thrilled when they answered my email real quick and said they'd be happy to do it. Becca from So Becca and
Really?
Ian from the Off Kilter Quilter as well. Yes, the two of them will be together. So we'll work out the dynamics of how that's going to work as well. But really, I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd sent me back an email and said, "Oh, thanks for asking, but we're busy," because they're both very busy people.
They are, but they try to help out other people wherever they can. They really are fantastic about that. And those two will be you're going to have people sign up from out of the woodworks there. You might have to do a lottery now that you've announced that. So.
Well, speaking of lotteries, not only do I have these guest speakers, but we also have a slideshow of quilts. We have a quilt show from the people who are signed up for the retreat as well. Those details will come out how that all works, but we do that. And there are prizes throughout the day. So it is a fun-filled day. I don't get any sewing done because it looks like Grand Central. There's about 4 computers in this room running at the same time when I do this. Plus, Walter is up in his sewing room remotely helping out as well if he gets out of bed, but and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a great day. So that's October the 25th, and stay tuned onto my channel. As I said, more details about the whole thing will be revealed about mid-September it. But I was really thrilled that I have because that's what I do first. I always line up the guest speakers first, and then I start to build everything around them. So so it should be good.
That's good. And I'm not kidding either. When the sign-up days are announced, get on quick, because with that guest lineup, those 100 spots are going to go lickety-split. So that'll be a great lineup. And it's always a lot of fun. I don't get to go to your retreats very often because they're always when the kids are here. And as you and I were talking about earlier, off camera, we're always out and about busy. Like I normally do our lives, and then we're out at a museum or something like that with the kids. So I don't get to participate very often. But if it's something that you're interested in, definitely go to them. It's free. It's really a good time. You get to meet some other quilters from all over the place that you might not get to meet otherwise. So and
it tends to be international as well, because there are some, not as many, of course. The bulk of the people participating are from North America, but we do have people from Sweden, Australia, England, around Germany in some cases as well. So it's kind of international. And John, thank you so much. That is very generous of you. John said he'd send me a prize to give out.
Oh, that's very nice of him.
That's very nice. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. And Colleen says Stephen's retreats are great. Well, thank you, Colleen.
No, they're a lot of fun. So if you're on the fence about that, definitely consider signing up for it, because as I said, they're a fun time. You'll enjoy it, and they're free as well.
They're absolutely free.
Absolutely free. Yes. So
the only thing I ask is that when the time comes, and I'll put it up, how you do it, you just register to reserve your spot, but it is absolutely free with it. I am not a business. I do this because I enjoy doing this kind of thing. It's probably my teacher background where, I'm used to organizing all kinds of things, field trip. And so, that kind of thing too. And just speaking a little bit more of that, if I may,
sure.
Every week on Wednesdays, this is for people that aren't familiar with my channel. Every Wednesday we have Sewing with Stephen, and we start at about 9 a.m. Eastern time and run until about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. It's a come and go. You don't have to register for it or anything. It is not a YouTube live, however. It is a Zoom connection. It's a private Zoom connection. I post that connection every week in all of my show notes for all of my videos. It's a permanent an address there for it. And if you got an hour to kill, or you want to kill the whole day, and you want to get caught up in projects, it's great. Some people have always said to me, was a little hesitant to join up because, didn't know what the reception would be like from the people. Well, I will tell you this, you never have to worry. Excellent group. I have my core people that come all the time, and we've gotten to know each other well, but we love new people. Gives new input. We chat about everything under the moon. While we're sewing, while we're working, if you need help with something, you're going to get it with no problem. And you might even get a little enabled to buy things from other sites, of course. So, but we don't sell anything. I don't sell anything. But, usually I'm the one that's been enabled. I go, ooh, I didn't see that. I need it. So we have a lot of fun. So that's every Wednesday. And then at least once a month, I have a pop-up sew day. And in fact, my next pop-up sew day they're always on a Saturday, is Labor Day weekend on August the 30th.
That's next week, right?
That's next week. I start posting the link for that in my show notes for everything that'll be put up next week. In fact, if you saw So Chatty on Friday, it's in that one already. It is also a Zoom. It is not recorded. It is not a YouTube live. You don't have to register. You just show up if you want to be there. We usually start at about 8 a.m. in the morning Eastern and run till 5 p.m., a little longer day, but you come and go as you please. And we just have a good time. So I usually run, as I said, one of those once every month, sometimes twice. The next one's coming Saturday, a week from today.
Or you can come here at 8 o'clock, and then once you finish watching my live, then go over and visit Stephen afterwards. Either way, it's always a lot of fun. So one more thing, I don't know if we mentioned this, the retreat is on Zoom as well. It's not recorded live on YouTube. I just wanted to mention that because I know some people are not real comfortable being on camera. I don't blame you one bit. I wasn't real comfortable being on camera when I first started this show. But I've kind of gotten used to it over time. So there you go. Wanted to go back to a question that Fallon asked a while back, and I told her I'd reply. And before I go to that, Donnell normally is live at 10 a.m. Eastern. Today she'll be live at noon. She has something to do in the morning, so she told me last night that she'll be live a little later in the day. So if you're looking for Donnell at 10, you can go watch one of her old replays, support her that way, but then go back to her at noon. And check her out there as well. Okay, question that Fallon asked was, how do I handle like working with like stuff I'm not used to? Do I get discouraged or like feel like I don't want to work on that? And that's an interesting question. Yeah, for the most part, I don't really enjoy or want to work on something that I don't want to work on. Like if it's not a colorway or something like that I don't like, no, I don't like. I find every excuse in the book not to work on it. However, with the puzzle mystery quilt colorways that I've been given, like the flamingo and the tombstone and that sort of thing, they're actually ones that, although I would not have picked them for myself, I've actually liked them a lot. I really have. And secondly, with this project, it takes me like 45 minutes to an hour a month to put together. So I feel like even if it was something that I didn't enjoy, it's an hour a month. It's not that big a time commitment. If it was a huge thing, it was going to take me 400 hours. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. So yeah, that's a great question. But yeah, I am not try only to work on projects that I enjoy because life's too short to work on stuff that you don't like. But yeah, that one there, I'm kind of willing to take the gamble and the risk. And I will tell the people too, like if there's colorways on that thing there, I'm like, you have full freedom. Please don't pick this one. There's been one or two over the time where I said, please don't pick this one. And they haven't, thankfully. But yeah, that's a great question. How about everybody else? Like, have you ever had to make something?
I was one of those people who, if I was hating it, I would still fight my way through to finish it. I was always that way, like a book. If I was reading a book, and I read a lot, and even if I was hating the book, I would force myself to finish it. I am over that now. It is okay. If it's not, as I say, bringing you joy, stop doing it.
Yeah.
If it's just becoming a chore and you're not, you're supposed to be having a good time with that. If you're not having a good time, life's too short. I say now, no, I don't like this. I'm not going to finish it. So I will put it in my cast off pile where I might cut whatever I did up or use it as orphan blocks to make a scrappy quilt somewhere down the road. I might give it away if there's somebody that I know that would likes it and they want to finish it. Here you go. That kind of thing. But I don't think you should have any guilt about that whatsoever.
No, not at all. No, definitely not. Donna said to you there, Stephen, can we send gift cards for your retreat giveaways? I'm sure Stephen will say yes to that, and you guys can get in contact to do that. So yeah, it looks like you might get a healthy little bump to your gift.
That is very
nice
nice of people to do that, because I don't expect anybody to donate to it. I do it all myself, and that's what usually my prizes are usually patterns and possibly gift certificates from Amazon. I say possibly because right now, with the majority of the people that come to the retreat are Americans, and you know, our dollar really sucks against the American one. But yeah, and because it's free, you know, it's not that I mind doing that, because okay, I'm not rich, but I'm not on the bony knees either, you know, so you can't be if you're but nevertheless, but yeah, but sure, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Fallon says, same, Stephen. I always used to finish books, not anymore. Life is too short. And that was something I talked to my wife about. You know, she'd tell me she's reading this book and she hates it. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, just get in your book. Oh, I've got to finish it. I'm like, no, you don't. And she's kind of turned around the last little while too. And she's like, yeah, I hate this book. I'm quitting it. So,
Well, you know, when I was teaching and we were looking, like, going through the books we were going to teach for the year, or if we got some new things in, we want to spruce up the curriculum, I would read these books. And before I was actually the department head where I could make the final decision on this stuff, when I was just in the ranks, and the head would say, this is a great book, you're going to teach that. And I'd read it and go, I can't stand this book. And if you can't, how can I teach something that I don't believe in? And I would put up some fights with that. Sometimes I won, sometimes I didn't. But it was glorious when I was the department head, because then,
you had a lot more freedom.
Mind you, I listened to my teachers, and if they really put up a stink to it, we always had a selection. You know, teacher didn't have to one particular book. We'd have maybe 5, 6, 7 titles at every grade level, and we'd allow the teachers to pick what suited their purposes for their curriculum, and you know, what they thought was something they could work with. But yeah, and so been there when it comes to I have to finish it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a proponent. If you don't like it, don't do it. You know, there's enough stuff in your life where, you know, like when you're at work, you have to do what you're told, even if you don't like it, because at the end of the day, you want your paycheck, you know, each time. But, you know, when it comes to your fun time, you know, you do what makes you feel happy. So
Donna says, Stephen, I'm thinking FQS. I guess that's Fat Quarter Shop.
That's Fat Quarter Shop, yeah.
Or Amazon. Sean, please give Stephen my personal address.
Okay. I'll take care of that for you.
Or what I can do, Donna, for you is I can put my email address right here into the comment section. I'll do that right now. And you can just drop me a line and we can talk about it further whenever.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, it should be.
Yeah, Donna's always really good about supporting everybody like this where she can. So I appreciate her doing that.
Oh, I guess it's set up on here where I can't put in a personal email.
Oh, you know what? We'll fix that in a second. Which username are you using? Are you using the Stephen Bland?
Yeah, use the Stephen Bland.
Okay, let me just find you. Just bear with me a second. Let's go to change it to a mod. Oh, where did you go?
I'm hiding.
I saw you here at one point. Oh, I didn't see Christina earlier. He says, hi, Sean and Stephen, listening while walking my dog.
John's
Stephen,
Yep.
Can you say hi in the chat, or just put like something, and that way I can just turn you on to a mod that way?
Okay, there you go.
Okay, perfect. That's what I needed. All right, now you should be good.
Okay, I'll try it again.
John said, Stephen, a dragon friend you made for us is hanging in our office. We love him. Well, that's nice. Sweet Granny, it's good to see you. I didn't see you pop in earlier. I probably missed other people as well.
It's working now, Sean. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so now you're in good shape.
Yeah.
And I saw Mona earlier as well, and there's a couple of people popped in, like Zaza and some others, a couple other people that I texted hi in the chat because Stephen and I were talking, and I was like, I'm going to forget them later on if I don't say hi in the chat. So that seems to work for me as well. All right, we're actually making some progress on this, which is nice.
Well, I can tell you about my night, Sean. Already.
Oh yeah, please share with the audience what you were doing at around 2 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, and get your little minds out of the gutter. Okay, so I am an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. Walter is I sleep until noon and don't go to bed until 3 a.m. kind of thing.
So he's basically a teenager with plenty of years of practice.
Yep. He's upstairs snoring away. But so at about 2:30, he comes into the room and he goes, we have a problem. Okay, Houston. What's the problem? He says, there's a bat in the house. Now, this isn't our first bat. We have had bats in the house before because our backyard backs onto a great big forest. And over the years, we have had bats in the house. So we're kind of used to them, but you don't really like them when you're awakened from a dead sleep and, and wings are flapping over your head around the room. So, and they're just little brown bats. They just eat insects and things like that. And they want out of the house as much as you want them out of the house too. So he got it. It was in the guest bathroom. They always love the guest bathroom. I don't know why. I guess they're just polite that way.
They want to wash their hands before they come and meet you.
They're either sitting in the bathtub or they're drowning themselves in the toilet. We've had a few commit suicide. Yeah, well, with that. So anyways, it flew downstairs to where I am right now because my sewing area is downstairs, but we have a completely finished basement. So he went into the rec room part that you can't see in this right now. And we're shutting all the doors behind us because we're trying to corral him. Now, what they say to do when you get a bat in your house is open some windows, open some doors, and they will find their way out and they'll go. The problem we have is we just had brand new windows put into our house, and they have these screens that they don't just slide out. You just can't open up the window and slide the screen. So we said, what are we going to do now? We're kind of sealed in here with this little dearie. So we opened up the patio door and we tried to corral it in the room, but he flew into what we call the Lucy room. Lucy room is where my long arm is. Walter's workshop's in there and that whole thing. He's in there. He's flapping about, and then we lost sight of him. So we've got all the doors that lead into the rec room from the outside of the rec room all closed. And we're trying to get him to come into the rec room because that's where the door is that he can fly out. Finally, he went in there. We shut the doors for the Lucy room. He's corralled. We think. An hour and a half later, he found the door. He kept going, flying in circles, and then he would light on right up close to the ceiling. They're kind of amazing that they can just like stick there, however they do that, to the wall. So we thought, okay, let's corral him further. So I started hanging up tablecloths from the ceiling to narrow down the area, hoping this would force him in. Well, that didn't work. Finally, Walter got a cardboard box, and this little bat was stuck to one of the bulkheads in the rec room. And Walter got up on a chair, took the box, put it over top of him, and then I gave him a piece of cardboard to slide between the wall and the box to seal him in. Then we could take him outside and let him go. He didn't really want to go in the box. That was the problem. So that plan went out the window. So we finally, though, an hour and a half later, he found the door and out he went. And okay, and as far as I know, he's gone off into the woods and to join the other bats that are hanging out there with a story to tell them. But yeah, that was fun. And of course, went back to bed. Well, do you think I slept? No, so technically I've been awake since about 2:30 this morning with this. And then you sleep with one eye open. You're going, he might have had a friend, because that has happened. That has happened. We've had a bat in the house. We got rid of him. 2 days later, another one, and they were living in the house with us, but in the daytime, they're hiding. You don't know when you're not looking for them. So, yeah. So that's what we get for living on the back of a forest, but they won't hurt you. They're afraid of you. They're petrified of you, but it's spooky. The wings, as they're swooping around. Not as spooky as the ones, Sean, that you have in Australia. You have the flying foxes.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty. I haven't come very close to one.
I'll never. They're
pretty animals. I was just saying they're pretty animals.
They do look like a fox with wings.
Yes.
Yeah, they're huge. I think they're the biggest bats in the world, and they have a wingspan of over a full-grown one of over a meter from tip to tip. And we saw them.
I didn't realize they're that big.
Yeah, we saw them in Cairns when we were there.
Yeah.
At dusk, we're sitting out in the balcony of our hotel room, and we see the sky starting to, these things, a few at a time, and then a lot more, and then the sky just kind of goes dark. Because they're all coming out of the trees and they're all heading for the fruit trees because they're fruit bats. That's what they eat. And I guess the fruit farmers hate them because they just their crops. But you can set your watch by it when they were all coming out. But then, so when we figured this out during the day, we're looking up in the trees and you could see them, and they're big. They're big and hanging upside down, right? Because they're roosting or nesting, or not nesting, but sleeping right during the day. And you don't want to walk under those trees just in case one sleep falls or something, or does something worse, like, oops, it's that time for you to do that. But they are cute. They're huge, but they're cute.
I think I've only ever seen the bats flying at dusk once, and I forget where I was. It may have been some of the flying foxes. I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, Yoidi's asking me. She says, Stephen, I came in late. How do they keep getting into your house? Well,
that's going to be my next question too.
Bats are sneaky. Okay. I told you that we let this bat out of the doors to our patio. We have a screened in patio area underneath our deck. Our house is a raised bungalow. So technically speaking, our kitchen is 1 story above ground. And below our deck that comes off, we have a really big deck that comes off our kitchen. Underneath that, Walter screened that all in, and we put in interlocking and everything. And we sit under there a lot in the evening because we have a lot of mosquitoes. And so we don't get eaten alive there. So that's where we are. But if you go in and out of the sliding glass doors because, you need a refill of your beverage or whatever. Oh, let's just face it's just grabbing another box of wine. But for us, these things, if they get in under there, and they can, they fly right in because they're chasing bugs out there, because that's what they eat. But they are so fast, you don't even notice this. So we try, when we go in really fast. Open the screen, shut the screen right behind us because of that. And we even have a bat light, which is a light on a timer that turns on at dusk out there and doesn't go off until dawn the next day, because we don't want them. We think we had a family of them, and a family of bats, brown bats, they only have 1 baby in a year. So there'll be 3 of them, and they look for shelter. So under there, it's kind of protect it from the elements because it's waterproofed under there as well. And we figured at one time we probably had a family in there. And so we didn't realize they were there because you don't see them during the day. And they are not very big. When they close their wings up, they're just tiny. They're like a mouse, and they don't have any bone structure. They have cartilage. They can actually get under a door 1/4 of an inch high.
Wow.
And They can flatten their bodies right down, but they are so fast. So that's how we think they get in. And what happened was we were sitting under the deck Thursday night and for quite a while. And we were going in and out of the door, and we weren't as cautious about it. We weren't, because we haven't had one for quite a few years, get in the house. And so, yeah, there was probably one who'd gotten in under there, and he was hanging around, and he was looking for a way to escape because the door that leads out to the backyard from the patio was closed. Or he was chasing a bug, because that's what they eat. So that's how we figured got in. The other theory was, but I think it's we had people over last weekend, and we were out on the deck up top, and we were sitting out after dark, and we were going in and out, and it's a possibility one of them, this guy, swooped in there, because you can have them in your house for a while. I mean, they don't eat, but they're petrified, right? They're so scared, and so they just curl right up somewhere in a corner where you'll never see them at all if they don't want to be seen. So yeah, that's how we figure he got in.
See, Janice said, Stephen, pop the bat with a towel, and when it falls, wrap the towel around it and take it outside. That works in North Carolina.
Yep, know about that. Tried that last night. That was another method. Couldn't catch him. He'd swoop down around by us and go around in a circle, and I had a towel up, and I tried to throw it over him. We're going to go out to the dollar store and buy a net. In case the next time, because we didn't have a net, and it would have helped if we'd had a net to capture him and get him out. Of course, mind you, getting him out of the net might be the trick if he gets all tangled up in it. So I don't know what the best solution is. But yes, I saw someone say they're protected in their area. They're protected in our area as well, too. So, yeah.
Georgie's been up all night. She just woke up. Russ says every time someone says a bat story, I tell them to look up Gene Robertson's "Don't Mess with Broom People" story. Okay, I'll have to go look that one up later on. I'm sure Russ will probably email me a link or text me a link about that in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, if you want to hear a sad story about bats that happened to us, I mentioned that at one point we had 3 bats in the house at the same time. Well, one bat revealed itself. And it was in the guest bathroom where they always end up. And the poor little sucker, he was in the toilet. And see, we're not sure why, but I think he was thirsty. He may have been in the house more than one day, and we didn't know that. And he was there, and he wasn't moving. And Walter says, and this is kind of disgusting. Walter says, well, what are we going to do about him? And I said, well, you know, my dad, when I was a kid, we lived in a 100-year-old farmhouse, and there were a lot of big, huge old trees that overhang the house, and there were tons of bats. And every summer as a kid, we'd always have bats in the house. My father used to sleep with a tennis racket next to their bed, my parents' bed. And my mother would, in the middle of the night, go, Lyle, there's a bat in here again. They were so used to it. My father would, half asleep, reach over, grab the tennis racket, and play tennis with the bat, meaning like the bat would swoop down. My dad he was really good at it. He'd backhand it with that, and that would kill it because he hit it pretty hard. Then he'd kind of scoop it up on the tennis racket, go in the bathroom, and flush it down the toilet. Because I told you, they don't have bones, they have cartilage, so they just collapse. So I said to Walter, my dad used to flush him. He looks like he's dead, so let's just flush him. So we did, but he wasn't dead. He came back up to life, and it was too late. I didn't know, well, what do I do? Do I reach in and grab him? Or what? I didn't have him. Too late. He's gone. He had a funeral. He's gone for a tour of the sewer system. And I felt really bad about that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to harm him, but I thought he was dead because I poked him a couple of times and he didn't move. So,
yeah.
But anyways, so down the hole he went. We felt bad about it. The next night, we had another bat. And in fact, we had 2. These ones we were able to, one Walter caught in a box. Actually, we got him stuffed, shut up in the guest bedroom. Walter's in there by himself with the box because I'm kind of creeped out at that. I'm not so creeped out anymore about them. and he's trying to get him in the box, but he's swooping all over the place, and we couldn't open that window. Well, we did have the window open, but he didn't seem to be bright enough to get out. And he seemed smaller than the other one that went down the tubes. And so Walter finally did get him in the box, but before he did, the thing lit on Walter's shoulder and sat there for a minute. And at that point, I would have been freaking, but Walter didn't freak. And he got him in the box. We took him outside, let him go. And then there's the next one. But that one was smart enough to go out the window. But we think that the one that wouldn't go out of the window Walter had to catch was the baby. I think we killed one of his parents. We orphaned a bat. And I don't know this for sure, but yeah, given what I already said about them making their home under our patio at one point in time, we think all three of them flew into the house at once. And the baby wasn't bright enough yet, knowledgeable enough to realize open window, go out, go out. So I felt really bad about that for a long time. I still feel bad about it. I didn't want to kill anything with them, but you know, I guess it comes down to this: bat or me? You're losing, bat.
Yep. But now you know what to do, so that makes it easier.
Yeah.
But anyways, Chiefs had birds.
Now, isn't there supposed to be some kind of not a legend, but you know, something about if a bird in the house, it's either a bad omen or it's good luck. I'm not sure which. Well,
I can't remember.
I suppose if it craps all over your furniture, that's not good luck.
Someone will let us know in the chat. I think the only real weird thing that's come in our house, well, it wasn't here, it was when I was living in Australia, my grandmother's house. I was staying with her for a little while, and she called me into her dining room one day, and apparently it was a blue-tongued lizard, or a blue-tongued skink, as they call them here in the US. And I had to try and look. It disappeared. I had to try and locate that. Finally found it because I actually had just purchased my very first. This was back in 2000. So I actually just purchased my very first digital camera back a few months before this thing came into the house, and I think it got behind like one of the big, heavy, cabinets that people have, for all their liner and everything else. And I was like, I really don't want to have to move this, really heavy thing unless it's actually back there. So I actually stuck the camera back there, took a few photos of the flash, and then reviewed it to see if the lizard was there. And we found it was there. So I was able to scoop him up and put him in a bucket and take him back outside. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things in Australia that people always say that, especially people who've never been to Australia, oh, I won't go to Australia because there's so many things there that'll kill you. Well, I love Australia because I've been there 4 times, and we have never, ever come across anything that would kill us.
No, I mean, I've seen more venomous snakes here in Virginia than I have in Australia. I mean, I remember seeing 2 the whole time I lived down there. So
yeah, so I mean, well, there are things there that could potentially kill you, but Australia, because of where it's located and everything, it's very nocturnal. These things come out at night and out in the rural areas, not in the city, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But the Australians themselves are very nocturnal too.
Yeah.
They only come out at night.
Well, like I lived out in the country. I mean, you stayed in my hometown one night.
I did.
And even there, like, you don't really come across a whole lot. Like, you gotta check the toilet seat out in the bush, to make sure there's no redbacks on the dunny seat.
Yeah.
But other than that, and if it's summertime, you don't pick up a stick as you're going through a bushwalk because it might not be a stick. But other than that, and don't pick up blue-ringed octopus out of a rock pool at the beach, otherwise you might be dead 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
That's really about it. Like, you're not gonna. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can kill you, but unless you go out looking for it and then poke it with a stick or try and pick it up, nothing's going to happen to you. And if you're really worried about all the animals, go during the North American summer. It's wintertime down there. It's not that cold, and all the animals have gone to sleep. So that's when you go. Yeah. Plus, the Australian summertime is just dreadfully hot anyway. So go during the American summer.
Well, we don't only have bats in our backyard, but we have, because we're on this forested area. It's actually a Boy Scout reserve that we are
Okay.
on. Um, and one of the reasons we bought this particular house in this location 30 years ago was because of that, because no one can build behind us. And it's nice to see the forest and the trees and everything like that. We have a fence, of course, that separates us from that. But we have wolves, coyotes. We used to have deer. The deer long gone. I think it's become too developed around this area now for them. Tons of bunnies everywhere. Skunks, raccoons, of course, all kinds of different types of birds. We have a regular zoo out here, and they come into our backyard on a regular basis, especially the bunnies and the skunks. One night, Walter came home. It was dark, and he saw a kitty on our doorstep. And so he's going, oh, I wonder where this cat came from. Got a little closer. Oh, that's not a cat. That's a skunk.
Oh, whoops.
So you don't want to go up and go coochie, 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 to it, because you're going to stink with them. They are cute, though, skunks. But, yeah. And every morning when I go out for my walk, I see at least 3-4 bunnies. And these bunnies, they wait till you get like within about 2 feet of them before they decide, maybe I'll hop off into the bushes again here. But they're always looking at you, the bug eyes on them, like, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do? Nothing. I just want to pet you. You're so cute and fluffy. But killer bunnies. But so, yeah, we're not strangers to wildlife. But it is Canada.
Zaza says she's cockatiels were the worst thing she could deal with in Australia. Yeah, like I feel more scared or like concerned about the wildlife in an American forest, like with the bears and the coyotes and the mountain lions and all that sort of stuff there, than because those things go, like a snake, you can outrun a snake, or you're supposed to stand still as a snake comes towards you because it's almost blind. So it's going to just think you're a tree or a stump, and they don't climb trees. So, and I can assure you, having done it, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I've actually, because there was one time there was a eastern brown snake came down towards me because my mother tried to run it over, and which is technically illegal, but she's passed away, so they can't really arrest her and take her to jail anymore for it. And so it came straight towards me. And I've been taught you stand still, and it came straight for me, and it went straight past me down into the gully, and that was the end of that. But there's really, unless you get a really aggro dingo, I mean, there's really nothing there that's going to outrun you and kill you. Like, as long as you don't poke it, pick it up, you're pretty safe down there. Yeah, I'm more terrified going into a forest here in Virginia and getting attacked by a black bear or brown bear or whatever bear lives here.
Yeah.
Than I ever was growing up in Australia, because except maybe the sharks. You have to worry about sharks in the water, but you do here too. So it's not as bad as you think.
You were saying about standing still with a snake. They say with a bear, if a bear approaches you, like you don't run. Apparently, which I think I'd be running like hell. But
you got to outrun it.
And if they still. Yeah, usually they'll turn around and walk away from you, but if they don't, they say you've got to make yourself look bigger and fiercer than the bear. You're supposed to like puff up like this, and you're supposed to yell and scream at the top of your voice and the whole bit, and they will turn around and run away because you've asserted your dominance over it. I don't know if I want to test that theory. I really don't.
Yeah, I've always heard, like, if you hear rustling in the forest or whatever it is, you just say, hey, bear, like yell out, hey, bear. And that way, if it's off in the distance, which it usually is, it'll take off and run away anyway. So we've done that a couple of times where it's usually a deer. I've never actually seen a bear in the wild. There was one time that my mate and I thought it might have been a bear. We don't know. We'll never know. And I'm okay with that. But like, I'm far more worried about a bear attacking me than I ever was about a snake or a spider or anything else like that. So there you go.
I can't.
Someone said that some snakes climb trees, so they wouldn't be standing still. Yeah, the Australian snakes don't climb trees. That's why, when they tell you to stand still, you're pretty safe doing that. And then the only other time I saw a venomous snake in Australia was actually just swimming down the river at a Boy Scout camp of all places. And it was in the river, and I was on land, and that was okay. It just swam down the river, and I didn't go chasing it.
Yeah, well, I think most wild things, if you leave them alone, they will leave you alone. At least that's a theory.
I don't buy that theory for all these years, and I haven't been killed yet, so must be doing something right.
You're doing something right, yeah. You've lived them all.
Yeah. John says they have coyotes, black bears, moose. I've heard if you upset a moose, that's not a good thing. A bunch of bald eagles. Zaza's had a friend who had a bear that used to walk up on her porch. Yeah, that freaked me out too.
Yeah. Oh no, you do not want to tangle with a moose.
No, I've heard those
weigh 2,000 pounds, and when they charge, look out. I mean that they're massive and all muscle and solid. Like people who have hit their cars, well, let's just say they're lucky if they survive. Their car definitely wouldn't survive from that.
I ain't playing with no moose.
So, but in Australia, you have the most gruesome of roadkill because of the kangaroos coming out at night. And we saw some of them. And if they run across a highway and a transport truck or a big truck hits them, they split them right down the middle, and they're laying there in the road, and it is gruesome.
Yeah.
Here, you see a squished bunny, and I find that gruesome enough. But when you see a full-size kangaroo split in half like a banana.
Yeah. I know, and it's not like the other thing you have to watch out for, more so in the outback, in addition to kangaroos, is camels and cattle. Because they'll be wandering out on the highway out in the middle of the country sometimes too. There's more camels, and I know this is true, so don't quote me if I'm wrong. There's more camels in the Australian outback than there is in the deserts in the Middle East.
I read that. But funny thing was, we weren't in the outback, so we didn't see any camels when we were there. But yeah, I had read that there's more camels there than in the desert.
Yeah, I have learned that I should never stand up on a bus on an Australian highway, because there was one time we had to swerve around the kangaroo. Another time we swerved around, I don't know if it was a cow or a camel. No one ever told me, but either way, you always hang on to the seats as you're going up and forward or backwards, because you never know when you're going to have to hold on for dear life.
Yeah. Well, so John.
Go ahead and hold up. I just sit in my seat. I don't get up anymore.
John says Matt almost got charged by a bull moose as he was trying to take a photo. We came across a bull, a cow, and 2 calves. Yeah, probably is protecting his family. There.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be scary with them. I mean, because moose are cute. They're big, but they're cute. But yeah, they're still a wild animal. So if you're in their territory, it's best to give them the right of way.
So that is a good question, Nikki. She says, are they indigenous to Australia or are they brought over? No, they are not indigenous. They were definitely brought over. I think they were brought over back in the 1800s or early 1900s. I think they were trying to use them to help explore the outback, because horses and that, because a camel can obviously drink a lot of water and go a long time without needing more water, it was easier to use a camel than it was horses or cattle to do the exploration, because of the environment, because there's not very much water out there to drink.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I said, if there's someone here who's a historian or knows more than I do, or Googles it and finds out that I'm wrong, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure that's why they brought the camels over.
Yeah, I think I read that too. About the camels, when I found out that they actually had camels in Australia, because like I said, you don't really associate camels with Australia.
No, but no, definitely not indigenous. They were definitely brought over, and as I said, I think they would have helped Burke and Wills and some of the other explorers, or maybe Burke and Wills used horses and cows and that's why they didn't succeed. I don't know,
Maybe.
something like that.
But speaking of Australia, my nephew, who has been living over in Australia for a while, he just got his permanent residency there. So I guess my nephew is now a full-fledged Aussie.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, he loves it there. He and his partner, and my brother. I just saw him last week, and my brother lives in BC, but he was out here for a visit, and he was telling me that this is his son, one of his sons, and his son has, got permanent residency now. So that's good. I guess they're going to stay. But
Where is he? Where is he living down there?
He's in Sydney, I think.
Oh, okay.
Area. We went the last time we were in Australia. We got together with him and his boyfriend, husband. They're not married yet, but I think they will be soon. And that was nice to see him. I hadn't seen him in quite a while because they moved out to BC back when the kids were before they hit high school, anyways, younger, and it had been pretty much over 10, 12 years since I've seen the kids. They grew up.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they do that. I guess that's a thing. But so you had Adam on there last week, right?
Yes.
So we met up with Adam in Birmingham when we went for the Festival of Quilts, and spent about an hour and a half with him, having coffee and talking, and that was really nice. Ran into other people too that we sort of knew from YouTube that were there, and I said to Walter, "Well, nobody here will know us. I mean, this is Birmingham, really." Well, surprise enough, we had several people come up to us out of the blue and go, "Hi, you're Stephen and Walter." Yeah, and who are you? Oh, well, really nice to meet you, and nice of you to say hello and everything. I was really shocked at that.
It's nice when that happens, though. Like, sometimes when you least expect it, that's where people say, "Hey, we know you."
Yeah, I mean, it was really quite nice. And of course, mind you, the British have a different way of greeting you. We've been to quilt shows here in our area and other places, in Ontario, and we occasionally will have suddenly we'll hear somebody yell, like at the Halifax Canada Quilts, Canadian Quilters show a couple of years ago. It was in Halifax, and we were there, and out of the blue, we were talking to one of the vendors. This voice screams, "It's Stephen and Walter!" Everybody went quiet, and they're looking around, and we're looking around and going, and this woman came out and she goes, "Oh," and I thought she was going to have a heart attack. And, "Oh, can I get a picture with you?" And everything. "Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you." I mean, it was almost embarrassing. Like, it was like, well, at first you kind of, your ego blows out of the water, right? And then you realize and go, "Oh, could this be a crazy stalker?" Meanwhile, the vendors we were talking to, they didn't know who we were. I guess we were just talking like we're there like everybody else. And they said, "Are you somebody important?" And I looked at them with a straight face and said, "Yes, we are." And walked away.
Let them figure it out. That's fun. I like that.
Keeping them guessing.
Okay, so here's my public service announcement to anyone that may come across me in the future. Like, if you ever see me at a quilt show or anything else like that, please come and say hi. I'd love to meet you because you all know what I look like. I don't know what most of you look like. However, please don't scream like that because that will just freak me out, and I'll probably get hide in the corner somewhere. So, just tap me on the shoulder or say hi, Sean, or whatever. But yeah, please don't scream like that. That would not do well for me. Stephen's probably used to it because, with his teaching career, the kids yelling and that sort of thing there.
Yeah, of course, their kind of yelling wasn't necessarily positive, but it was usually, "Please, sir, don't beat me anymore." Okay.
Yeah, when I get yelled at, which doesn't happen often, it's usually someone that's very upset with something that hopefully I haven't done at work, but I'm the one getting yelled at for it. So, please don't yell. Just come up and say hi, or if you have to call out, just don't yell. Because I'll get scared.
Yeah. Well, it is very disconcerting when this happens to you because you're really not sure what's happening. Is someone running down with a knife in their hand, or whatever. But we did have one. It was funny. she's a friend now, but at the time we didn't know her. We were at a quilt store somewhat just half an hour north of us we go to. We were inside, we were shopping, we came out, got in the car, and suddenly there's somebody pounding on Walter's window on it. And we're looking, there's this woman. I don't know her.
Right.
Do you know her? I don't know her. What is this? She's pounding, going, hi, hi, hi. So I said to Walter, maybe you should roll down the window just a crack. And so he did. Hi. She goes, hi. Sorry to scare you, she says. And then this man came up behind her and she says, yeah, we watch your channel all the time. We just live over in the town next door at a place called Ajax, which is very close to Oh, yeah, hi.
I know where that is.
Now we're good friends with her and that, but we still talk about Elaine the stalker. Her stalker.
Yeah, I just asked, because people come up to, I know people from like all different walks of life, all different areas, people I've worked with or that sort of thing there. If I forget, and I just ask them now, hey, where do I know you from? Because I don't know if it's from the channel or if it's from an old work acquaintance or church or something else like that. Someone was asking a minute ago before I forget, which model, like what machine are you using for your embroidery? Like, model.
I just saw that. That was Zara. Yeah, I have a Janome 550E. I'm a Janome boy.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm a Janome boy is because when I bought my first machine, it was a Janome because that's what my local quilt store, they're a dealer for. But I do love my Janome machines. Everything's Janome in this house. So, yeah. So 550E. It's a real workhorse. I've never had a problem with it. And I've had it for, 5 years.
Yeah, it seems like everyone I've come across that's had a Janome has really enjoyed it. You don't really hear people complain about those.
I mean, I did have one machine that was a lemon, and that's all documented on my channel. That was the 15,000, which was a combination sewing machine and embroidery machine. And well, needless to say, I finally had so many problems with it. And my dealer, she was great. She even sent it to head office to get it repaired. Supposedly it was repaired, came back, was doing the same thing before. I went through over $500 worth of bobbin cases because it was destroying them. And I finally said to her, look, I want to get rid of this. I want an M7 and I want a 550E. What would you give me on a trade-in with this? And she made a really good deal, which she didn't really have to do because it wasn't her fault. The machine was that way. But anyways, I will never buy, and I mean, there'll be people who will disagree with me on that, and that's perfectly all right. I will never, ever buy any brand of machine that is a combination sewing machine and embroidery machine, because I think that was the problem. It was the timing. Your timing for the sewing machine part worked fine, but it didn't work with the embroidery part and vice versa. And they couldn't get that right. And it was destroying the bobbin case and everything. So yeah, I'm a great believer in two separate machines for two separate jobs.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. And some, like I'm sure there's some products out there that do just fine and dandy, but yeah, sometimes it's like, what is it? Jack of all trades and master of none, and that sounds like that might be what it is there for you. So,
yeah, and I know there'll be some people say they've never had a problem like that, and and they'll always be the ones. Sorry, but the ones who have drank the Kool-Aid, Berninas.
I got this Bernina at a very, very good price. I don't know that I would buy I don't know that I'd buy another one. They are very, very good machines and they very reliable and everything else. But for the cost of getting another one, I don't know that I would get another one necessarily. I mean, I love my FARP. I'd get another FARP in a heartbeat and that sort of thing there. The only reason I got the Bernina really was that I had someone offered this to me at $500 US. And these sell used, even though this machine's 20 years old. Regularly, if you look online, they're selling for $1,000, $1,100, $1,200. So when they offered it to me at $500, I was like, I can't say no to that. So,
well, they've got that new machine. Is it the 990 or whatever? That is the combination embroidery sewing machine. It's something like $23,000 manufactured just at retail price thing, and yeah, they look really nice. I'll say the Bernina machines are very slick.
They're a great machine. I mean, I just can't justify spending what they cost. If I was to go out and buy a new machine, I can get a very nice Farf machine or a Janome or something like that for a lot less money.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I know there's a lot of Bernina fans, and that's fantastic. Like you need to get the machine that works for you. What works best for me may not be what works best for you. So don't ever let me try and tell anybody that, hey, you have to get this machine. I'm not going to tell you that, because I don't know what your needs are, So someone was asking, what foot am I using for this? I am using the 57, which is a 1/4 inch foot. I'm actually you've probably seen me turn this around a bunch. I'm not free motion quilting. I'm just stitching along, because that way it's got to be nice, even stitches, and I'm just doing a 1/4 inch apart. So that way, when this goes into the show, the stitch length is nice and consistent. It's just working well for me. So Nikki says, oh wow, that's a great price. She has a 440, which is the same model as I have here, and paid over $1,000. Yeah, if you go online today, well, I haven't looked today, but like the last time I looked, like 2 or 3 months ago, because I've had this machine for 7 or 8 years now. They were $1,000 then. They're still $1,000 the last time I checked. So yeah, I got a phenomenal deal on this. Yeah, apparently the lady that I got it from, she bought it from someone else. It was too much for her. She didn't really like it. And so she just wanted to get back what she paid for it. And I was like, yeah, sold. Here's your money. There you go.
Yeah, well,
it's almost. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I did look at Bernina's. There's the same place where the stalker found us. They're a Bernina dealer, and I did look at one, and I thought about. I didn't need a new machine, but I had thought, because I'd heard so much about Berninas and everything like that, and buying one. But then I started investigating the servicing of them, and I had just taken the courses online for servicing my Janomes and other machines, but they won't teach you how to service a Bernina beyond basic just oiling on it, because, and as I found out from this dealer, Bernina trains the dealers on how to do it, but they only train them so far. You still have to send it into the official like Bernina site. Now we're lucky there is an official Bernina site in the town next door to me, but you need special tools as a dealer to open up the case to get into it, and the tools are $1,800 Canadian for them to get in, whereas most other machines, it's just screwdrivers, the standard ones. So that kind of put me off, because I thought, if I want to service my own machine, well, if I buy a Bernina, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I don't want my machine to be down for like 6 weeks to 8 weeks or whatever it's going to take to get it done. So that's what turned me off. That basically turned me off of Bernina.
Well, I'm also very lucky. We have a Bernina dealer that's probably like 15 minutes. It's actually on the way to work. And they tried very hard. They're closed on Sundays and Wednesdays. And I was talking to them earlier this year, because this thing needs to go on for a servicing like no tomorrow. And once this quilt's done, that's where it's heading.
Right.
I think they told me it was like 89 or 1. I forget how much it was. It's whatever you pay for a servicing. But normally what they do is, like if you drop it off on Tuesday, like the day before they close, the guy that does the servicing does them all on the day off, like on Wednesday. So I could drop it off Tuesday and go pick it up Thursday.
That's pretty good.
And so I was like, that's fantastic. Like, they've definitely got my business that way, because I said I can drop it off, Tuesday afternoon on the way home from work, and then I can go pick it up Thursday or Friday afternoon on the way home from work. So it's actually, it's really convenient. It's not really out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be out of service for 3, 4, 5 weeks like you can other places.
Well, but I always say to people when they ask, we always get some of our viewers and that who want us, to recommend a machine or something. And I, like you, I say I have Janome. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Go in and test drive them, like you would a car and everything like that, to find one that suits your purposes and your comfort level with it. But
Yeah.
the one thing I do tell people, no matter what kind of machine you buy, make sure where you're buying it from is going to service it, give you full service as well. You don't want your machine to be down for months on end if they have to send it far away, kind of a thing. So, and that's why we went by Janome, because that's what was the closest dealer to us. And so, yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of went against that model with the FAF because the nearest FAF dealer to me is a significant distance, but I do have a repair shop that's down the road that services all brands. Plus, I've heard there is going to be a dealer not too far away there's another shop that not too far away that's going to potentially become a FAF service center and dealer in the very near future. So I should be good in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're looking for a machine, if you're able to, go to a quilt show and test drive them there, because for like a $10, $15, $20, whatever the entry fee is, you get to go see a bunch of beautiful quilts. And you can see a whole bunch of different dealers at once. You can test drive Janome, Benina, FAF, whoever else you can think of. And the pricing at these shows are generally fantastic. It's usually prices you can't beat. Like the FAF that I bought, I think it was like almost like 30 or 40% off regular retail price at the show. So, and if you go on the last day, they usually discount them even more. So that's, if you're able to, that's a good place to go shopping.
Yep, it is.
But test drive them all. Some fun. That's what those people are there for. And they want to stay busy. Like, when they're standing around just chatting to each other, they're probably bored out of their, minds. So go talk to them. Just tell them what you want. If you don't like what they have to tell you, just go on to the next place. And you don't have to go to like all these different places. You can just do it all in one shot. That's what I did earlier this year.
Yeah, and make sure that the people you're talking to aren't doing the used car salesman trick on you. They're trying to push something down your throat that you don't want. They should spend time with you. They should ask you questions about what you want to do with the machine, what your past experiences with machines or in your sewing and all that kind of stuff. That's what they did when I got my very first machine from my local quilt shop. She spent time with me, and they asked me what my budget was, and I told them, and she says, we have several models in that line, and she took me through each one and explained the different features. And she didn't try to sell me something that that was a higher end one with 1,000 other features that I'll never use, So, and that's why they have my business all the time, because of that, and they're all like that in that store, no matter what you're buying, whether it's a machine, fabric, whatever. They're all very personable, and they don't try to push anything down your throat, which is good customer service, I think.
Oh, for sure. And like what you're saying is almost a mirror image of the experience that I had with the FAF deal that I ended up buying the machine from. And I was just very, very happy with them. There was a delay in getting the machine to me because it actually ended up going on back order, and then I ended up upgrading to a better machine for the same price. They offered me, because it was on back order for a couple of weeks, and I kind of wanted my machine, so I was emailing back and forth, and they were very responsive. And I'm sure you've all heard this story before, but I just figured, okay, let's ask about upgraded models. I was like, if it's an extra $100, $200 or whatever, I think I'm just going to pay it and get a better machine. And they were like, well, we have this class used machine that will give to you at the same price if that's appropriate. I'm like, heck yeah, send it on down. So they actually serviced it, made sure everything was nice. I mean, this machine looked brand new. Like if you hadn't told me it was class used, I would have had no idea. So I ended up getting a phenomenal deal. I think it was like a $1,400 or $1,500 machine for $600. So
which is a good price. price.
For sure. I said, I loved it. And it was the customer service that really sold me on this machine as well, because she sat me, the lady sat me down. Can't remember her name now. Asked, budget, what do you do? What do you want to do with it? Here's a couple of different options. Please try them all, and did not push me to the more expensive one, And I just thought that was really nice. So, all right. Well, with that, I think we'll have to go ahead and say goodbye in just a few moments. Nikki says the Mennonite service mine, they are a dealer in my area. It runs about $80 to get it. So, okay, that's awesome. I think it's about $80 here too. I can't remember. I'll have to go and talk to him again soon. Yeah, Zaza says like cars. Everyone likes different things on their sewing machine. But it looks like Annette's saying, can Sean get 75 likes? Let's make it happen. If you haven't hit that like button, I'd love it if you can on the way out. If you haven't already done so, it does help immensely. Stephen, what do you have coming up on your channel in the next week or so that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, just my usual kind of things. Of course, mind you, my usual, you never know exactly what that might be. Stephen and Walter
Right.
Live, of course, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, where we never know what we're going to talk about until we get on the air for that one. That one's a free-for-all, and a lot of it comes from whatever people's comments are that come to us at the same time. So, yeah, we never have a lack of things to talk about with that. And then next week, my vlog on Monday. And by the way, each of my videos, there are some overlap, but not a lot. My vlog is more about, it's more personal. Things, maybe things I have bought. I have a section on 3D printing because that's the other hobby I have. Then Idiot Quilter on Tuesdays, that is more focused on quilting. So chatty, variety of different topics from one week to the next, and that's with Walter. It's not live, it's pre-recorded, but we back and forth about whatever the topic is. This week we were doing Playing with Lucy, and
Yes.
which is my long arm, that's her name. And then back to, Stephen Walter Live. And by the way, we were talking about Clint Milner, the boy stitcher. If you go to my channel, I did an interview with him last week. It's up. Check him out because it's well worth listening to him because he's phenomenal as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him on very shortly. I'm just grabbing that link now and going to share it in the chat for anyone that hasn't gone to see that. And Stephen does a wonderful job. And if you're interested in learning about different quilters, Stephen does do a wonderful job interviewing different people. He likes to find, the little guy, the little girl that hasn't got 500,000 subscribers. Now, I know you had Kate from the last Homely House at one point, but you invited me on very early, which I was very appreciative for. And you've had a bunch of other people on there as well. So, yeah, definitely go check it out. And it's, normally like 20 minutes or so. Is that about right?
Oh, no, they run longer. They're usually about 45 minutes or so, the interview.
Oh, okay, this one's an hour, yeah. Well, that's something for you to listen to while you're sewing in that. So, yeah, definitely go check that out. It's always a lot of fun. So, but, yeah, for me, I will be back tomorrow morning with my podcast. I'll have some cool stuff to share. Hopefully get some more stuff done this afternoon. Otherwise, it might be a short episode. That's okay. If it's a short episode, it's a short episode, to give you more time to go watch something else that you've missed. Lives, let's see. Donnell will be live at 12. So right now you can go, you got an hour. Actually, you can go watch the Boy Stitcher interview with Stephen now if you want. Russ should be alive at 11, I think. Can't see why he wouldn't be. Unless he's at the quilt shop today. Okay, yeah, so check out Russ at 11, Donnell at 12, Laura Lynn at 1. Katie should be live at 4. And then, go check out all your favorites as well. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you again, Stephen. It's always
thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Not a problem. We'll make sure it isn't a year and some change before the next time around.
Yeah, we'll have to get together sooner than that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button on the way out. Say hi in the comments if you're watching it. Later on, and we'll see you all next time. Have a great day. Happy sewing.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.